The Dutch women who tower over most men and redefine everything you know about beauty. Step off the train in Amsterdam Central Station, and within minutes you'll experience something that fundamentally challenges conventional beauty standards. Dutch women who stand 175 centimeters tall on average, making them the tallest women on Earth, who bike past you in perfectly tailored clothing that somehow remains pristine despite wind and rain, whose blonde or light brown hair seems to glow even under gray northern skies, and whose blue or green eyes hold a directness that can be mistaking for coldness until you realize it's simply radical honesty. But here's what truly captivates about Dutch women. They possess a confidence so complete, so unshakable, that they need neither makeup nor pretense to command attention, cycling through cobblestone streets in jeans and simple sweaters, yet somehow looking more put together than women elsewhere in designer outfits. They're products of the world's most gender-equal society, where women have been economically independent for generations, where female sexuality isn't shameful but celebrated, where work-life balance is protected by law, and where speaking your mind directly is considered virtuous rather than rude. Understanding these women requires understanding the Netherlands itself, the tiny nation that punches far above its weight in global influence, that reclaimed land from the sea through engineering genius, and that created a society so liberal it makes other Western countries look conservative by comparison. The country that shouldn't exist but does through sheer engineering. The Netherlands covers just 41,543 square kilometers in northwestern Europe, making it one of the continent's smallest countries, yet it houses 17.5 million people in one of the world's highest population densities. Look at a map and the Netherlands sits wedged between Germany to the east, Belgium to the south, and the North Sea to the north and west. But here's the mind-blowing fact that defines everything about Dutch identity. Approximately 26% of the country lies below sea level, with some areas reaching 7 meters below sea level, meaning that without the elaborate system of dikes, pumps, and water management infrastructure, roughly a quarter of the nation would be underwater. The Dutch didn't just settle near water. They literally created land where only sea existed through a process called poldering, building dikes around shallow areas, pumping out the water, and transforming seabed into farmland. This constant battle against water shaped the Dutch character toward pragmatism, cooperation, and innovative problem-solving. The country's highest point reaches only 322 meters, making the Netherlands one of the flattest countries on Earth, perfect for the cycling culture that defines daily life. Geography of windmills, canals, and endless horizons. Dutch geography is deceptively simple. Flat, wet, and crisscrossed by waterways that create a landscape of almost surreal symmetry. The famous windmills weren't tourist attractions but essential technology for pumping water from low-lying polders, with the Kinderdijk complex featuring 19 windmills built in the 1700s and still standing as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Canals define cities like Amsterdam, Utrecht, and Leiden, creating transportation networks that predated roads and remain central to urban life. The Delta Works, a series of dams and storm surge defenses built after devastating 1953 floods, represents one of history's largest engineering projects and has been called one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. The tulip fields, particularly in the bulb region between Leiden and Haarlem, create carpets of color in spring that attract tourists worldwide. Amsterdam, the city of contradictions and complete freedom. Amsterdam remains one of Europe's most fascinating cities precisely because of its contradictions. A medieval canal ring city with a startup ecosystem rivaling Silicon Valley, a place of historic architecture housing the most progressive social policies on Earth, a cultural capital where you can visit Rembrandt masterpieces in the morning and cannabis cafes in the afternoon. The city's 165 canals connect over 1,500 bridges, creating an urban landscape where water reflects narrow merchant houses with their distinctive gabled facades. The red light district, where prostitution operates legally behind windows, shocks conservative visitors but represents Dutch pragmatism. Regulate what you can't eliminate. Coffee shops, despite the name, sell cannabis legally to adults, though technically it operates in a gray area where possession of small amounts is tolerated. A hotel room in Amsterdam center costs $120 to $250 or $110 to €230 nightly. A meal at a decent restaurant runs $25 to $45 or €23 to €41 per person. Museum admission costs $15 to $25 or 14 to 23 euros. The liberalism that makes other countries look puritanical. Now here's where we explore what makes the Netherlands the world's most liberal country, as the title claims. The Netherlands was first to legalize same-sex marriage in 2001, 2 decades before many countries are still debating it. Euthanasia is legal under strict conditions. Prostitution is legal and regulated, with workers paying taxes and receiving labor protections. Cannabis possession and consumption are tolerated. Sex education starts early and is comprehensive, resulting in some of the lowest teen pregnancy rates globally. Drug policy focuses on harm reduction rather than criminalization, with heroin provided to chronic addicts in supervised settings. This liberalism isn't moral decay but pragmatism. The Dutch believe in personal freedom combined with social responsibility, in regulating rather than prohibiting, and in trusting citizens to make their own choices. The results speak for themselves. Low crime rates, low drug addiction rates, stable families, and high quality of life metrics. Rotterdam, the port city that rebuilt itself, bold. Rotterdam, the Netherlands' second largest city with 650,000 inhabitants, presents a completely different aesthetic from Amsterdam's historic charm. Bombed flat during World War II, Rotterdam rebuilt with radical modern architecture that makes it one of Europe's most futuristic cities. The Erasmus Bridge, the Cube Houses, and the Market Hall all showcase architectural ambition. Europe's largest port operates here, handling over 400 million tons of cargo annually and making Rotterdam the gateway for goods entering Europe. The city attracts a more diverse population than Amsterdam. Prices are slightly lower, with hotel rooms costing $80 to $180 or 73 to 165 euros and meals $20 to $35 or 18 to 32 euros. The women who won't play games or pretend. Dutch women's reputation for directness, independence, and refusal to engage in traditional feminine performance makes them simultaneously attractive and intimidating to foreign men. They'll tell you exactly what they think without sugarcoating. They'll split bills on dates without hesitation. They'll reject advances clearly rather than giving soft numbers. They maintain careers, often working part-time to balance life, and expect partners to share domestic labor equally. They cycle everywhere regardless of weather, wearing practical clothing rather than heels and dresses. They don't wear excessive makeup or spend hours on appearance. This approach to femininity confuses men from cultures where women perform traditional gender roles, but it reflects a society that moved beyond such performance decades ago. Dating Dutch women requires emotional maturity, actual conversation skills, and acceptance that they don't need you economically or socially. Food that's better than its reputation suggests. Dutch cuisine suffers from an unfair reputation as bland and boring. Traditional dishes like stamppot, mashed potatoes mixed with vegetables and served with sausage, provide comfort during long winters. Herring, eaten raw with onions and pickles, is beloved locally. Bitterballen, deep-fried meatballs, accompany the drinking culture. Stroopwafels are addictive. Indonesian food, legacy of Dutch colonialism, is everywhere and excellent, with rijstafel offering dozens of small dishes. Cheese, particularly Gouda and Edam, is serious business. Amsterdam and Rotterdam feature world-class international restaurants. The cycling culture that defines daily life. The Netherlands contains over 35,000 kilometers of dedicated bicycle paths, more than any country on Earth, with bikes outnumbering people. Cycling isn't recreation but transportation, with people biking to work in suits, elderly people biking to markets, and parents biking with children in cargo bikes. The infrastructure prioritizes bikes over cars, creating cities with cleaner air, healthier populations, and less traffic congestion. For visitors, cycling is the best way to experience Dutch cities, though the aggressive cycling style requires adaptation. The work-life balance that shows another way. The Netherlands pioneered part-time work as a respected option, with nearly 80% of Dutch women working part-time by choice to balance careers and personal life. The culture rejects the grinding work hours common elsewhere, with people leaving offices at 5 p.m. sharp to have dinner with families. This isn't laziness but different priorities. Dutch people value time with loved ones, personal hobbies, and mental health over climbing corporate ladders. The results include high productivity per hour worked, low stress levels, and societies that function well. The verdict on the world's most liberal nation. So we've explored this remarkable country, from its tall, direct women who refuse to play traditional feminine games to its geography created through engineering genius, from its capital where every freedom imaginable is permitted to its cities rebuilt with bold vision. We've discovered why the Netherlands claims the title of world's most liberal country not through chaos but through pragmatic policies that treat citizens as adults. The surprises aren't just the legal cannabis or prostitution that get headlines but the deeper cultural values. Radical honesty, gender equality, work-life balance, and trust in personal responsibility. The Netherlands proves that liberalism doesn't mean moral decay, but can create functional, prosperous societies with high quality of life. For travelers seeking to understand how far social liberalism can go while maintaining order and prosperity, the Netherlands provides the most compelling example on Earth. Now we want to hear from you. Drop a comment telling us which city or country you're watching from and what surprised you most about the Netherlands. Could you handle the radical directness of Dutch culture? Hit that hype button and smash the like button because it costs nothing but helps our channel bring you fascinating content. We're grateful for every single view. Before you go, click one of the suggested videos on screen to discover more incredible countries and cultures. Until next time, keep exploring with an open mind.